Good morning. I don't know if I'm online yet. I'm just checking. I'm live, everybody. Hold on, let's do this. Yay! Live! And as always, I got my morning boogers going. Sorry, everybody, that you have to be a part of this process, but it is life. An exciting part of life. Boom! Okay. Almost done with Majora here, everybody. I'm so excited about it. I really am. I like seeing things get done. And I only have so much time in the day. This is what I do for a living, is art. I am a commissioned artist, so if anyone needs me, feel free to go find me. Dan's Artland 1. I'm not hard to find. So I put some red in yesterday, and I do love that. Look how much more red that looks. Oh, dude. See, I mean, it's subtle, but it's the subtleness that I'm looking for in this. This is not a mask that gets wore all the time. This is Majora's mask. I want a good backstory. I've been creating a backstory for Majora's mask. Tell me if you like it. So here's my backstory. These were creatures that used to walk on this planet that Link and everyone lives on. Everyone knows the name probably, and I get blamed somewhere for it, but the story goes, these critters were once a part of the land. And when I say part of the land, they grew as land. I mean, they look like land. They're wood. And this is actually, they're wood. The horns are natural, so they actually grew out of it. So I don't know, wood horn. That's fine by me. So they would have had this thing probably jutted out of their face. The little holes right here would have had probably little squiggly things that just, would like drink dew or pollen or something. The horns are there. Maybe they had more going on than just being horns. They look like horns to us because of how they sit right there, but they might have had tentacles or something. And I see them as cowish looking, more like a Miyazaki style spirited away creature. His style. I love Miyazaki style. I mean, to be honest, Studio Ghibli's style, really, because there's so many people who are a part of it. I would hate to dog down on someone who's kicking booty and Miyazaki gets all the love, which he should, because the dude's a freaking legend. Orange. But at that same time, there are so many quality artists, because even though there may be the person who is the dynamo, there are so many mini dynamos that have to be a part of that dynamo. For that person to be a dynamo, it's rare for anyone to be big without a large group, like a significant large group. I'm going to go down these horns now and put a little bit of purple first. No, I'm going to go yellow first. No. I'm going to go yellow first. I'm going to see if yellow works. I might not add any purple to it. Just keep it straight. Now I'm going to go in. Same color I was using yesterday. I was using that yellow and cream. I was using yellow cream to make a nice light yellow. But I might want to fleck a little bit of orange in it, because these horns have been sitting in whatever color the creatures of this area have been soaking it in for years. Or, I don't know, maybe it's not. Maybe that's the color. Maybe these were colorful creatures. Now, of course, everyone's going to say it's not a creature. Any of the people who know the lore know it's probably just a mask made by a shaman or something. But with that, I'm creating the deep backstory of these used to be creatures that no longer exist. This was the last. The reason why it's Majora's Mask is every single one of these creatures had died off and become a mask. The masks have all died off. This is the last remaining mask, which means the essence and spirit of all of that, the whole thing, the people and the creatures that wore the mask and the actual creatures that were once the mask, all reside in this. So it has kind of the Peeves the Poltergeist. If anyone knows the story of Peeves the Poltergeist from Harry Potter, he is nothing more than the extreme condensed essence of misbehaving kids throughout Hogwarts. So that's how it's described, as that poltergeist, as being a actual. So it's not like a ghost of a dead person once was. Peeves wasn't a former person ever. Peeves is an amalgamation of condensed wacky behavior. I find that to be awesome. So Peeves had been tried to been removed many times, or twice that is known of, and both times ended up in Peeves just lighting them up. So when it comes down to it, I guess one of them used a magical glass jar and a magical glass jar that they tried trapping Peeves in. Peeves got out, wreaked havoc. I find that awesome. I'm gonna put some orange in there. I do want some orange. It would just be just this big neon light sitting in there without orange. Something to soften that the tonality of it, really. So I would have put this bright upon the rest of this whole toned down piece. But I still do want this to be a background color. So I'm still gonna probably put some more coloring over the top of it. And like I said in my previous videos, I referenced this as saying, when you finally get this is the first one. This is my first one out the door here to find out what I want my Majora's Mask to look at. So I am taking my time on it. If I was to really be sitting down for somebody's project, if I was doing this for somebody, I would have sat down in the course of one day and just done it. This is throughout the course of many days where I have to restart the process, kind of get back into it, talk about it. So with that, this is taking extra long, extra steps, but I find that to be good if you're learning. If you're learning, enjoy the steps. And then I'm going to go back in with a little bit of yeller. Old yeller. So I'm putting this on with intentions to take off. I mean, quite a bit of it. It's drying, but like really being dry. It's hard to say because like right now the colors underneath are dry. I could sit there with a brush long enough and wipe away quite a bit. When you freshly put paint on, like if this was still fresh, it still has this, it looks dry. You'll look at it and say, oh, it's dry, you can touch it. It will, even to you, you will even feel it. You'll be like, ah, it's dry, but it has that kind of weird moisty feel to it. Moisty. So for anybody who is watching, please, I would like for there to be more people, so tell a friend. Or don't. Whatever. Hey, George, what did I do with my brush? Serious? Drop it. Brush down. Brush down. What did I do? It's right here. So if you hear noise in the background, that's my heater. I live in the mountains. Mountain boy. summertime, I'll probably have the door open. I live in California. C to the Fornia. And with that, we get all of our wacky weather. And when I say wacky weather, I mean like pretty fracking wacky. But since I live in the mountains, we get everything. So I get all seasons. We get extreme heat. We can never say extreme cold, but we do get cold. I mean, everything freezes, so for an average person, I guess it would be an extremity. Having things freeze is an extremity. I know. Don't say it. I love the show. It's the Falcon, y'all. Come on. I mean, I can care less about the movies. I can care less about the shows. I won't lie. I just kind of like the movie and the show. I mean, for the most part, that's what it is. I love the movie and the show. I like that. Let me do something here. I need to get up the image of. Well, I don't really have the images right now. They're going. I got a lot going on. I'm working on a couple comics. I'm working on a couple different things for people. I got a cool woodworking job that I'm going to be kicking down a nice little situation. I just landed it. So for anyone who is thinking to become an artist, there are a lot of avenues to take. The best avenues right now that you could take are like you got your Craigslist, freelancer, but be careful at your avenues that you want to take, and be prepared when you do get into certain avenues to be able to handle the haul. And that's real too. So freelancer, I like them, but you better be ready to run. So when you put down your situation, you better be ready to run. That's all I can say. So make sure if you're going to be doing illustrating or graphic design, make sure your computer's set up. Make sure you have your hard drive space. Make sure you have all the things you should be thinking about. Get a website. Get a lot of photos ready. Put photos in files that you want to say, call this my portfolio for my illustrating. Call this my portfolio for my graphic design. Call this my portfolio for this. So that way, at a moment's notice, you could drop somebody a portfolio. And that's it. Really, it is. And then just be prepared to run. Run. It's the way life always will be and has always been. If you ain't running, you ain't staying ahead of the curve. And that's all it is. The world's going this fast right here. If you want to get ahead, guess what? You gotta run a little faster. That's it. That's life. I just cut life to a 2-second little finger show there. Here's me. First of all, because I was behind, I have to catch up. Now I gotta pass it, and now I gotta stay ahead of it. That's it. It's hard. It's really hard. And if you're behind, and then you're really far behind, and then you're really far behind, there are ways to get porthole jumps, but those things come at massive costs. Video games really show all that. I'm not even gonna lie. Life is shown by so many things in a video game. The freebies that you have to get if you want to get ahead because you suddenly are behind. You have to get that coin, that thing, the MacGuffin, your personal little MacGuffin that solves all your little things. And they're out there. I mean, I don't know, there's so many. I can start talking about it, but then I just know someone I would talk about them, and it would just ruin their day. And I'm not here to ruin anyone's day. But there are things you can do, but you just gotta be running. And the people who are way, way, way ahead got so far ahead at one point, for whatever reason, and no, there's cheats. No, there's cheats, people. Do know there are cheats. And if you don't mind using that cheat code a lot, too, you can get way ahead. You can get way ahead. And that's all it is. Are you willing to keep pushing that? Hey, dude, look at this. It just keeps popping up. Cheat right there. Do it. I'm way ahead. Cheat. And I'm way ahead. Look, I just keep hitting the button. But every time you do that, something happens. No matter what. Trust me, it's the butterfly effect is so true. Every time you hit cheat, somebody suffers. And know there are good people in this world. So always know, anytime you hit cheat, it usually comes at the behest of a person who's probably a good person, who's just chilling. It's like, ugh, took a hit. And they're like, what was that for? That's usually what happens. Usually. Like, so often it's, I mean, unfair isn't even a word for it. And there are some places in the world where there's just large groups of people that are good. Which means, I think the better the people, higher likelihood, the larger the tyranny, if they can get their feet in the door. And that's all it is. It's the standard don't let the vampire in thing. Because once you do, they can come in anytime they want after that. They just need the invitation. Once you invite them, they go, hey, 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 you said I could. So I'm here. Forever. And ever. Vampire. So funny. Vampires and werewolves. What's your take, everybody? What's your take? It's a new world. Are you team vampire, werewolf, or the hunter? No one mentions the hunter. They really don't. You always hear about they always make it out to be that there's the vampire, the werewolf, and society. But they always leave out one person, the hunter. Which always exists, will always exist. There will always be the Punisher. Okay, so what I'm doing right now, I mean, it's tough because this is on the light one. But I'm bringing in my yellow now from the top, and I'm leaving my orange now be the bottommost color, which I like a lot more in this dynamic. Think of it as layering on a Photoshop style system. And you're getting ready to do the function where you change the overlay, or you change the way that the layer above will actually settle over, so you can actually change the dynamic flow of it. And that's kind of what you have to think of when you do this. So where do you want that color to be? Do you want the darker one down below and then put the lighter one on top? Or do you want the lighter one below and put the darker one on top? That creates a totally different dynamic. Totally different lines will pop out of that. And when I say lines, once again, anyone who's in Photoshop and you go really close into your photo and you're trying to make colors match, you'll realize it goes light. Right next to the light, for whatever reason, the camera will pick up a dark color, even though the color may be one solid blue. Right next to it, it will be this dark color, and then it goes into the color. But right next to anything white or light, the colors that will be next to it will darken harder and then soften a little more. So when you do these, you can get a different textural flow. So that's why I'm saying just make sure you're... I think I'm doing is just getting yellow and orange for these darker ones. But then when I get to the blue, what am I going to do for the blue? It's going to be tough. Let me see, where am I at right now? 20 minutes.
Hey guys, all of you dads.
Over here. You talk to that camera.
All of you dads and moms out there who have kids, make them watch my channel. It's fun. It got games. It got.
Let them know what's coming in the future. You keep saying it like it's here right now. So say it's going to be coming up right now. We're in January, coming on to February. So by February, at least middle of February, we're going to start dumping JohnnyTronic videos. So JohnnyTronic is the mad master of a fun channel that we're going to be doing with. It's going to be him. We have our things that we're going to do. We got our games that we have. But it's going to be his show. He's going to be the one running it. And I'll come in and we'll be playing. We'll be just doing stuff like dad and son stuff. But for the most part, it's going to be Johnny's show. And
I'm going to be doing toy reviews and toy box. And the toy box is where I check out some toys. Oh my goodness. And
bless you, boy.
The toy box is where I review toys. And I'm going to be doing video games, fun video games for you guys. And check out my channel when it comes out.
Which will be coming out in mid-February. That's when it's coming out. Like I said, I've been trying to get myself ahead on a few things right now, but now that I got all my locations for all my situations right now, it's about time, because I want his channel to be, like I said before, fun. He's gonna have the fun channel. Mine's gonna be interesting and neat. I'm gonna have a lot of stuff going on. I'm gonna get better and better as I go. I'm gonna make the channel a little more poppy, a little more interesting. I know you have to sell the moment, or else it's not fun. And I like it to be fun, because I like doing art. I like doing art for you. And you. And Legos. Yep. We're building Legos right now. So beware, Lego. Lego company, beware. We're going to be sending you some designs soon that you're going to turn into DaddyBot and JohnnyTronic. Oh, that would be sweet, dude. A couple boxes with DaddyBot and JohnnyTronic style spaceships on it. Maker builds. Oh, that would be sweet, Lego. If you're hearing this, maker builds. And then you can sell them as maker builds, but they'll be sweet because
they come apart.
Oh yeah, all of our stuff. My goodness.
It comes apart. Then, when you're not expecting it, it comes together! And then, pew, 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 it shoots everyone that's bad! Pew, 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 pew!
With its highly devastating pew-pewers. Highly devastating pew-pewers. Always reminded me of a Honda Civic horn. You want to hear honk honk? You want something to move you, but then you always hear beep beep. So, do keep on track with us. We're going to be doing, like I said, when it comes to DaddyBot and JohnnyTronic, we have a lot of things coming up. I have a comic I'm working on. So I have my days all allocated to time. So my art is now on a schedule, which I love. I'm not going to lie, I do love it. But I have these things right here that I'm working on for future stuff, JohnnyTronic. Check out our Instagram page, but so this is the story of a gamer boy who gets trapped in a cosmic style situation of gamer-like proportions. So it's gonna be a fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm gonna be eventually going for some funding on it so I can get it going faster, because I would like to make that something that's a little more of a priority, even over what I'm doing right now, which I like doing a lot of art for a lot of people. But at the same time, I would rather be working on a project with, you know, a small consortium of people who may want to be a part of something like this, because I'm looking at this saying it has the potential to be its own video game, its own movie. It really does, because it's actually really fun, but that's what everyone says. So let me start, and I need to get some funding going for it so I can just start and just be working on that, because it really does have... I've been writing screenplays for years for just friends who are getting ready to do their indie flicks. I've done a lot of stuff like that. So I've done stuff that goes out, and I've had friends who are close to Hollywood and using it for talking to producers and stuff. So I've got as close as you can get to... How about this? I'm standing outside the restaurant smelling the food. I'm not inside eating it just yet, but I'll be there soon enough. See, I like that. See how the orange kicks along that? It more or less just softens the tone of the color of that red. Well, it looks sweet. But the other way around, it just was not working. It was not working with the yellow beneath it. It was just looking too dead. I couldn't see the look of it. Oh, this just looks so much cleaner. You can see this so much better. And it's because the undertone of the color is beneath it. And then I'm bringing the horn look of it through the top now. So it gives it reality, but you sense the red in deep. You sense the orange in deep. That's what I'm liking about doing this overlaying style of painting. This technique. Let me see how it looks on the green. Not bad. It does the same thing. It just darkens it. Gives it a look of like... Gives it a good look of... Yeah, I like that. There it is. When I start to go through, yeah, you can see kind of how it's flecking over the top of it. Oh, that looks good. Yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. When you start to see paint strokes, like your brush strokes, you may have your paint a little too thick. Sometimes I water it back down again, so I don't see those paint strokes. What I want is an even tone going through this, and the even tone comes from the viscosity of your paint. So is it going to be able to move fast over the top and not leave a streaky residue? Viscosity. You get my point. I say words that are just so close you get it. I'll be wrong from time to time. Join me in that journey. Join me in my verbal gymnastic journey. Oh, that looks sweet. Turns that green brownish. Oh, I like that a lot. Bring that red down a little bit lower. Bring the orange down a little lower on the red. See, if you go to the other side, you can actually see a line, and that's where I'm saying you got to make sure that you have the consistency in your loaded in your brush right, or you're going to start to leave streaks. And if you do, you have to go back and kind of start removing. So get some water back on your brush, like this one here. I loaded up somehow too much, and it left a. And then you just got to play with it a little bit. Once you start going down this journey now, once you start watering and erasing, yeah, you could really. So just be careful. I'm not putting any pressure on it. I'm turning my angle real angular, so that way my brush and the horns are I'm barely touching. I'm just applying a little bit of water almost. Just to let it kind of do the old ramen noodle thing and get wet. and get loose. Because once it's on there and dry, it's not going to come off. So I got to put a little bit of water on it, let it sit for just a second, and then you can play with it. But too much, too fast, you got wet ramen. I'm going to pop a little bit of color back into some of these the other way. See if they're working. Ooh! Oh, too much, too high. No! So real soon on JohnnyTronic's page, we're going to be setting up for music. The man can kick a beat that will blow a mind. He's blown me away, it's all I can say. And I've been to many of functions where there's this style of music, and my boy can just knock it. Yesterday he cut a track, and I was like, what? So we are probably going to have to set up a radio station on the Tronic channel where it's going to be JohnnyTronic stuff on loop, or you can check his track and kind of do your own Spotify but with some Johnny tracks. So that will be coming up too in the future. He's already busted 2 tracks. One I know he's into. The other one was his first track laid, so we'll might have to do a little bit of revamping on that one. But he is he's DJing up some stuff, putting together loops, mixing it up. It is smooth. I mean, really, it's smooth. So we will be setting up that on his channel as well. He has got a lot of musicality in both of our families, his mother's and on my side. My mom is a pianist. She's been playing piano for years and years and years and years. She taught me piano. I played piano for years and years and years and years. And my boy tends to have all this music around him that I don't know if he knows even what music instrument he is. So right now, I kind of was messing around, and we got into just goofing a little bit with some stuff, and he was just playing around with some loops, and he's actually got some mad skills. So we will probably be flecking that into our channels. As a matter of fact, I know it's going to be my background music for some stuff. I'm setting up my own music. I don't want to deal with any shenanigans, people. If I see problems, I fix them myself usually. So when it comes to dealing with music and copyright, and I don't want to take anybody's stuff and get anybody unhappy, because that's just who I am. I don't like people to be unhappy. So and plus, why would I worry about it when I have a master sitting right behind me with funky, fresh, mad skills? I mean, not even kidding. Funky, fresh, mad skills is what the boy's got. First one he made, called Calm. And it is. It's sweet.
No, the first one's not calm.
Well, the first one you did is not Calm, but the first track on that's going to be on your album is called Calm.
Okay.
Because the other one is his first track, and it was good. It was good. I liked it still, but he obviously wants to do a little more to it because it wasn't. I don't think it was up to his par. But dude's got mad skills, yo. So you'll be checking that. So I'm gonna be setting him up with a section probably on my Dan's Artland website for people to go to, like a JohnnyTronic section. For now, until I get when I set up his website, it's gonna be sweet. It's gonna have locations for games. It's gonna be, but that's gonna be a little bit of time. Everything takes time. Everything takes money. Everything takes stuff. So once that starts to kick, and if I can get, funding would make things better. But I really don't want people to have to put. If they want to, they can. That'd be nice. I won't stop anyone who would like this to go further. But really, I'm not going to make it I'm not going to go out and really hard promote it just yet until I have something. Like, I do know that I would like to start working on projects for schools, because I mean, I go to my son's school and there's all these things that the school has busted, and it's not the school's fault at all. I'm not going out there and I'm not. It's not California's fault. It's our fault. People always make it seem like the school system should. It's like, yeah, but I can do it. So if I had some funding and this was something that I could do, I would love to be able to go around 2 different schools, starting with my son's school and fixing up. There's just some stuff on his school that I would love to see. Like, we're doing plays and stuff, and the microphones don't work, some of the speakers don't work, and we're an artsy town. We're an artsy town. I can't express that to people. We have one of the rarest. We have a full-on high school. We have a what do they call them? Where you go to the school and you live there. Where the big schools have them, like the biggest of the schools. Like in Europe, they had them all the time. They would send them off, and they have boarding schools. So it's an artistic boarding school, and with that, we have people from all over the world sending. They're wealthy people, good for them, but sending their kids to our town for this art school, and then you go to the actual town's school, and these poor kids are having to deal with shenanigans, and I'm like, come on, people. But it has nothing to do with the school. It has nothing to do with it's us. We as the parents, we as the people around have to join forces and say, hey, can we add to the school? I don't think the schools care. They don't. I don't think they care. If you give them time and money, that's help to them. I think. I don't know. Maybe you can. Maybe you can't. I would say if it was for programs like, can we come in and help you fix up your theater department? Just give you a couple props that will make things easier. Fix up your sound systems. Make sure your lights are working. Make sure the microphones are working. And then call that it, you know? Don't go too far. Let the people have it. You can't give everybody everything or nothing ever gets done. You got to start moving the process. And then if they see it, then everyone starts moving on these things. That's my take on it. I could be wrong. But for the most part, I've noticed that if this thing is going to work, you got to get in and first fix the thing. It's like when you go into a hoarder's house. I watch I watch those hoarding shows and the cat shows. They hoard stuffed animals, whatever they hoard. And the first thing they always do is they go in and remove everything that doesn't need to be there. So once again, first things first, if there's a lot of problems, you need to remove all the stuff that is not a problem. I mean, that is a problem. So like at the school, I was saying that the microphones are bad and the speakers are bad. Well, those got to go. Got to go. Got to get new ones. So that's where funding needs to come in, because yeah, there's going to have to be something that says, hey, yeah, there's still going to need to be probably $10K worth of stuff being done. And no one wants to do $10K. Because to get it started, there's always a cost. And that's where everyone's like, and the cost for the hoarder is the time. So much time looking over memories that they can't look over. They need a crew to come in at that point to just do it. Just remove everything so that person can walk off. They're not looking at it anyways. The person who's the hoarder is not looking at the stuff that's piled at the very bottom of the pile. But if they were to clean it and get to it, they wouldn't know what to do with it. That's what a hoarder is. That's what all the problems come from, as far as like schools and all the. So the first things first is there needs to be something that goes through, like a foundation or something that goes through and starts the process. First thing you got to do is remove the clutter and the stuff that is not working, which means it's probably going to be a bunch of old stuff. And right now, a lot of things can be broken down afterwards. So, I mean, there's a lot of foundations that could be turned into small side businesses afterward. When I say small side businesses, I mean if you're going through the old theater departments taking out old speakers, well, there's magnets on those speakers. You can pull those suckers out and reuse them for things. So wires, copper wire, you know, there's a lot of things to extract from a lot of old stuff that I know people are saying, but then there's a lot of people who need help, and I don't know why people wouldn't want to just sit down and say, hey, place to live, place to do this, 2 hours to sit over here on the side and have fun. We have music, there are couches to sit on, and all you gotta do is pick out wire and stuff. We would like for you to be able to do this, and stuff would get done. I mean, there's so many places where people just, they don't want to work normal. They want to work different. They're tired of the shenanigans. Everyone makes it seem like in order to be a good person, you have to be, you have to. You don't. You don't. No. Shenanigans. Shenanigans. That's the. Oh, I'm blasted through massive amounts of time. I'm not doing hour shows, guys. I'm going to be starting to set these things up for 10-minute shows, but I just start jabbering while I'm painting. I'm done right here. We're going to call this a good day. We're going to like, subscribe, notify. JohnnyTronic, DaddyBot, boom. Both of those are going to be entities of themselves to a degree, but at the same time, always together because we are partners. Me and my boy. The best thing in the universe to me. So when it comes down to it, DaddyBot and JohnnyTronic have their channel. There's going to be 2 separate ones that are going to be coming off real soon. That's going to be JohnnyTronic, and there's going to be another one called DaddyBot. So, like I said, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button. I am going to be making smaller shows because I think that's my problem right now is I'm making too long of shows. But I can go on for years, people. I got jabbering inside of me. Cool. Everybody have a good day. I am looking forward to tomorrow and maybe making a smaller stream and doing multiples. So enjoy the goodness of the day. I'll be talking to you soon. Peace. Hold on here. Hold on. Let's do it again. I'm going to do it. Skee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-doo. I love my boy so good. 8 years old and a tool tough guy. He is JohnnyTronic. Skee-bee-dee-bee-dee-doo. Okay, everybody. Thanks for being here. I'm really done.